have Stoke City signed this summer the best goalkeeper in the Championship. Welcome to where Potters Walk. Welcome back, Carl, and welcome for the first time, Ben, to Where Potters Walk. How are you both? Enjoyed that game, I imagine, against Norwich?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, I enjoyed it, to be honest with you.
All right, we're going to get into that in a second. But first of all, let's go straight to answering our question. Ben, for you, have you got the best goalkeeper in the Championship?
Quite possibly. I do wonder whether the standard's a little bit lower than it previously has been, to be honest. And that probably puts Johansson up there as one of the best. I don't know who was after him in the summer, to be honest, when we were after him. We signed him pretty quickly. But I think he'd fit in any Championship team, really. Those saves on Saturday were fabulous.
Yeah, the Norwich fans were saying that without him, there could have been a couple of goals to the good before half time. We'll get into all of that in a second, though. But Carl, we've spoken before about this Stoke side. Are you enjoying your new manager and the way he's setting you up?
I am, yeah. I'm impressed, to be honest with you. I mean, I think I made it clear on here before. I was a big Shuey fan, and when they sacked him, I thought, what are they doing? But the side just looks massively improved, really a big improvement, and there seems a bit of a unity within the squad. So, yeah, so far so good. So far so good.
Okay, let's have a look at some of the tweets, shall we then, from the players. First of all, help me with this one, Ben. Matt says, please sort the throw-ins out. They are terrible. No movement or going back to the keeper or defender. Just get it down the line. Is that something you've noticed, or is that person talking garbage?
No, they're absolutely right. They are not very good. I don't know what it is, whether players just don't want to show for the ball, whether the managers tell them to stick in their positions. But they've been bad for a little while now. My dad always said, who sits next to me for the games, he said, Joe Allen's the only player over the last 6 years that would ever show for a throw-in. And yeah, it's sort of coming true now. So it's a shame because we'd lose possession so easily in decent positions. And our history, of course, were long throws. So
Absolutely. Stoke went down for it, yeah.
Yeah, you'd expect that we'd be better at them now, but we're not.
Okay. What about this one, Carl? Ties in with what you were just saying, really. TC says, we can see the team unity. All right, Carl, what do you think to this one then? TC says, we can see the team unity. We usually lose them games. To come back from 1-0 down to get a point versus a likely top six side is a step in the right direction. The passion and fight in this side in the staff and players is what we've craved for years. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Passion? Stoke City? No.
Yeah, well, we haven't really had passion since the Tony Pulis days, have we? I mean, even under Mark Hughes, the football was fantastic, but the passion that you're starting to see, they try and chase balls down. They finally throwing themselves in front of balls. The defenders are, which usually they just shied away from. And like I say, I haven't seen for a long time when a Stoke player scored a goal, them actually run to the manager and celebrate with the manager. So that to me says they're enjoying what he's doing. I've not seen that from a Stoke side in a long time. So yeah, there is passion there, and there's a good unity at the minute, which is very positive for us.
Ben, when Hull came to play you on that Friday night with his first game and came and won with, I think, a 3-1 win or something like that, are you seeing the progress from that game to this one now in terms of shape and style, formation, and as Carl says, belief?
I think, to be fair, the first half of Hull was pretty good. We got at them quite a few times, but that was on transition. And I guess for transition, it's less reliant on tactics and more about what your players can do in the moment. Whereas now, I thought this is the first home game in a long, long time where I felt that we've played like a home team. If that makes sense. So we had control of the football. We had control of our style of play. We were able to put Norwich under the cosh for a little bit during the second half. We're still far from the finished article, but yeah, you can see the fact that from Hull where we completely fell apart to Norwich, where we are now bossing games to a certain degree.
Okay, all right. Good stuff. The goalkeeper, then, we've already spoken about. We've got the best goalkeeper in the league. I'm really happy for the point. It was a good point in the game of two halves. The first half, Johansson kept us in it. The second half, we peppered them for most of it. We couldn't find a winner up the pellet. I'm sure you will agree with that. About Manhoef, though, this one says he's not done very well with these opportunities so far, but fair play. A great goal. I don't understand Manhoef at times. Sometimes he seems like he needs 11 shots to get a goal. And other times I think he can appear world class. Carl, is he a good player?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's an exciting player. You know, he runs with the ball, and it's. I'm not doing comparison because he is definitely a poor man, Xherdan Shaqiri. But Xherdan Shaqiri used to put his foot on top of the ball and roll the ball, and when Shaqiri used to do that 9 times out of 10, it was going in the top corner. Notice Manhoef started doing it. I think he did that to score the goal. His foot went on top of the ball, he rolled it, and it went in. But yeah, definitely he does need about 9-10 shots before he gets that one, and it doesn't seem he does tap ins either. You know, it's always got to be a bit of a worldie.
And what's happened to Cannon, Ben, since the Portsmouth game?
We probably don't play to his strengths, to be honest. He's a guy that likes to run in behind, and I think we did that for him once in the whole game against Norwich. Got plenty of opportunities against Portsmouth because their defence was abysmal. But yeah, against the harder teams, Norwich didn't play with a particularly high line, so it's going to be hard for him to find that space in behind, particularly when our players haven't quite got the patterns right anyway. So he will come good. He just didn't have many opportunities, and perhaps when he does have an opportunity, I think it was against Swansea, he really should have scored, and he didn't. But then he probably needs 2 or 3 just to grease the wheels a little bit.
I think the big difference is, if I can put a point in, and that is we've not got Sam Gallagher. I think Sam Gallagher really helped him against that Portsmouth. He was the one holding the ball up, and he was the one feeding the ball in for make them runs. Obviously, he's injured again, so we haven't had that. I mean, Kumas is a bit more lightweight and probably a bit more of a selfish player, if that makes sense. So I think that's the difference at the minute.
Okay. All right, it's a big week for Stoke then, because of course it's a two-game week. Bristol City come to the Bet365 first on Tuesday night, which means the Stoke Light Show's back. Love the Stoke Light Show. And of course, this is a game last season. I think it was the last game of the season, wasn't it? Or close to last game of the season. You battered Bristol City. Do you see that kind of scoreline happening again here, Ben?
No. We are a completely different team from the one that turned up last time. Albeit, I agree with Carl, the fact that we have made progress from Schumacher. I don't know whether it's improvement. I think we take a more controlling games, as I say. But if you think Schumacher's record was quite good, how effective we are in games, like I say, first half was pretty good against Norwich, but perhaps we'd have done just as well with Schumacher. I think we sort of Bristol played into our hands last time we played them, and we just got them on the break every time. We're not quite that team anymore, but then they might surprise me. They really might, and I would certainly love a 4-0 win if we could get one.
Okay. And then you travel, of course, to Bramall Lane on next Saturday, and of course, next week's episode we'll review both of those games. Carl, how does he approach a game like Sheffield United then? Because of course, they haven't lost at home all season. They were going well up to Leeds, and they've got some really good magicians in midfield. Just is this the one where he shuts up shop a little bit more than perhaps previously against Swansea and
I don't know.
Games?
I think he's sticking with this 4-4-2 at the minute, which I like, and it's sort of one of them. I don't think any Stoke fans expecting us to go there and beat Sheffield. I don't think we're expecting a win, so go for it. You know what I mean? He's got sort of a free hit, if you like. Nobody's expecting us go there, walk them over 3-4-0. So if you go up there, shut up shop and lose 1-2-0, it's to be expected, but you might as well just go for it. I think that's probably just me being a lunatic, but yeah, that's how I'd go for it. You just got to go for the kill, aren't you? Yeah.
All right. Okay. We'll talk about those games next week then. Before we let you go, it is Halloween around the corner, so we're of course asking all our teams this week who's the scariest, nastiest player that you've ever seen in a Stoke shirt. Carl, let's go to you first on this one. There's been a few for Stoke down the ages. Who would you go for?
There has, to be fair. The ones I've seen, I'd probably go. You go and look at somebody like Robert Tooth or Jerry Taggart or someone like that. But I know before my time, I'd probably hear a lot about Dennis Smith. So yeah, I'd go Robert Tooth for modern days. Most people will know Huth, of course. So
okay, good shout, Ben.
Just to throw in a different name, I'd probably say Andy Wilkinson, who would and has literally put his head through a brick wall for Stoke. Ask Ronaldo how he found playing against Andy Wilkinson. He wasn't very impressed with him, put him that way.
Fair enough, yeah. As an Everton fan, I remember Charlie Adam for you guys was a savage. Not in a good way. Can you beat any of those names? Drop us a comment below, and we'll give them a readout next week on our Halloween episode. Cheers, Carl. Cheers, Ben. Enjoy your trip to Sheffield, both of you, and be ready to feedback on it next week. But Stoke are on the up. Great news. We don't have to be depressed on this channel any longer. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.